The Disney Channel has never been the pinnacle of television. Even as someone who was raised on it, no, that's not the greatest television. It's not. And when it comes to the films, they're pretty hit or miss. They have some that are actually legitimately good and can appeal to adults too, I know, since I rewatched some of them and they still hold up. And then you have the garbage that I can't believe I even liked as a kid. There are some I even hated as a kid, but that's... You're gonna have movies you hate as a kid regardless. But there was a time when this channel... Not this channel, the Disney Channel. Sorry, I'm still fighting a losing battle with allergies. And trying to talk in this, intentionally trying to be monotone here. It's not working out, so I just need to talk normally. It had some dignity to it at some point. It, of course, had terrible movies and terrible shows, but it had dignity to it because it had effort. But somewhere around the year 2014, quality control went out the window. Because I think the last good film they made was Teen Beach Movie in 2013. And even that was a subjective good. I think it's awesome, but that's... But since then, they have not made a good movie since they've made a few passable ones. Like, I could say the first two Descendants are passable. The third one's not, but the first two are passable, I guess. But other than that, they made nothing but schlock. And today we're going to be talking about their latest effort, Under Wraps. This channel has stooped so low that they are remaking their own property. They are so creatively bankrupt that they are remaking their own property. Now, the Disney Channel has made remakes of other films before, like they did an Adventures in Babysitting reboot in 2016. It wasn't very good, but at least it wasn't remaking their own property. And they've done, remakes of their animated shows, or stuff like that. Like, they did a live-action Kim Possible. It was awful, but, again, it was a live-action version of the cartoon, so at least it was something different. In 1997, the first ever Disney Channel original film came out. It was called, and it was Under Wraps. And it shows just how far that channel has devolved. It had a very cynical sense of humor to it, which I really appreciated. Hell, the very first scene, and it's of course them watching a movie, because it's a really dark scene too, but of course it's them watching a film, so I'm just gonna rip that under you right now, but there's a scene where a guy drops, the very first scene ends with the guy dropping a knife into the garbage disposal by accident and starts spinning around. And then a monster breaks through the window and pushes the guy's head into the knife. Now, you don't see anything, obviously, but the screen goes, it cuts back to everybody in the theater, and, the screen goes red, implying that the gore is still there. And I thought, holy shit, that was actually really cool, because I recently watched this for the first time. I recently watched the 97 movie for the first time. And it had a very cynical edge to it, and all the characters had a cynical side to them, but it was in a very fun way, too. It wasn't a masterpiece, it's not even close to their best film. I'd say it's maybe in the top dozen, I don't know. The best is still obviously Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension, there's no doubt about that, but they had that cynical edge to them back then. No, it didn't always show, because the next year they made Halloween Town, which had no cynical edge to it whatsoever. It was the most cheesy thing you could make. But it was still there. This is the most sanitized remake I have ever seen in my life. So, you remember what I said about the opening scene being a guy who basically gets his head pushed into a knife that's spinning around in a garbage disposal? That's a really creative way to kill somebody, might I add. That's not here. Because of course it's not. What do they replace it with? This shitty-looking costume, this green, green blob monster thing. It looks like a giant booger. And it's just chasing this kid. It's implied that he killed somebody who was, his babysitter or something. But that was off-screen. It shut the door, you hear a few crashes, and then it bursts through the door again. You don't see anything, it's barely implied. It's lame. It's watered down. It's cookie cutter. This movie is like that for the entire hour and a half. It is a watered down shot for shot remake. Now, when I say shot for shot, it's not as offensive as Lion King when it was literally shot for shot, like the same shot layout, same lines, everything. But it gets close in a number of scenes. Hell, the first scene again it shows an audience watching the film, and it cuts away just before, I guess, it eats the kid. I don't know. You probably could have shown that, and it wouldn't have been anything, because it wasn't implying it was gory, or it wasn't a creative way of killing anybody. It's just generic. And then the more scared kid runs out, and it's a shot-for-shot remake. And not only that, even if it wasn't, it's still a bad movie. Like, I said Tom and Jerry was probably going to be the only time I didn't finish a movie. I didn't finish this one because I figured it was a shot-for-shot remake. And I remember I put my finger on the scroll bar and I scrolled through what I had left. I didn't get very far. I got maybe halfway through this, and I scrolled through the rest of it, briefly seeing what was on screen, and it was exactly the same. But even still, not even just the opening scene, everything is watered down, because in the original, when the mummy starts walking around, it's everybody is trying to maim, hurt, or kill this poor creature. And there's even a point where he's in the hospital, where he's walking around in a hospital, and they try to burn him with the freaking whatever those things are. I can't remember what they're called. The thing you use to get someone's heart going again. And they use that on him, and they basically light his nipples on fire. That's freaking hilarious. And yeah, they're just going out of the words. Every other scene, this mummy is falling off of something, and getting hit by something, or getting his nipples lit on fire. Here, there's none of that. There's none of the creativeness. There's no cynical side to it. It's all the same base. It's what I thought the '97 movie was going to be. And it's just. And there's the same shitty conflict done so much worse here. The main character his mom is dating somebody new, and he doesn't like him even though he's a super nice guy. The original, that's a really stupid thing to do, because it's this guy's nice, why are you being such a dick about it? But the movie established it had a very cynical side to it, so it kind of matched up. Here, the kid's just acting like a douchebag. And not to mention, his black friend, I don't know how else to describe him, he's the black sidekick in this, has one of the most annoying voices I have ever heard. Imagine hearing Adam Sandler's high-pitched with Chris Tucker's high pitch combined into a 12-year-old boy. This kid has such a high-pitched voice. I don't know if that's his natural voice or if was directed to give the most annoying performance possible. And I'll give this kid credit. All the acting in this is terrible. All of it. Every single actor is bland, forced, and forgettable. It's it just fails. There's no production quality to this film at all. The '97 movie, take the opening scene again, for example. The monster is you see the thing for 10 seconds. But it's very well detailed in the original. It had a decent, realistic, brownish color to it. It looked cool. In this one, it looks, how best to describe it? If any of you saw the Disney movie Bedtime Stories, the Adam Sandler movie, the booger monster that showed up in one of the stories, it looks like that if it had legs and was a really bad costume instead of bad CGI. It's lame. It's lame. That's the best way to describe this movie. It's lame. I don't even know if I'm going to bother scoring this. I wasn't even actually planning on watching this or hell, even doing a review, but I decided to watch it, and I needed to vent for a little bit. It's a short review because, again, there's nothing to say. It's a shot-for-shot remake of the '97 movie, and watered down and done poorly in every conceivable way. The directing, incompetent. The writing, again, shot-for-shot and superbly incompetent here. The acting, all terrible. The music, forgettable as hell. The makeup and costumes, ugh. How did they get so much worse with these? Like, I remember Halloween Town 2 having such great makeup and costume designs. That was great. And hell, even the original Under Wraps had great makeup and costume as well. Why couldn't they translate this into a film that came out, let's see, 24 years later? Almost a quarter decade later, and it looks worse. How is this possible? Should I even bother scoring this crap? No, there's no point. There's no point in scoring this. This movie's a shot-for-shot remake and done poorly in every single way. Really sorry about my voice. But it can't be helped. Not in October. Well, it's now November, but it can't be helped. So thank you all so much for watching and hearing me vent about this. I'm going to review Last Night in Soho. I'll probably have that review out tomorrow. Then I'm going to have my October ranking out tomorrow as well, probably. That's the plan, at least. It just depends on how the day goes. So, well, today I was already kind of pissed off, so I needed to vent about this crap. So, yeah, that's all I got, and now I've got to go review Last Night in Soho. So, and in case you haven't noticed, this movie is rap. That may be the worst pun I've ever done in my life. Yep, see ya.